Hello and welcome to SlummerTV, episode 19. This is the official Neon Divide podcast. I am your host, as usual, Skiz, and today with me I have the project leads and an ex-project lead of Neon Divide Alternative, our sister project. We're going to be talking with them about the differences and some of the similarities, and just in general what's going on over there at Neon Divide Alternative. So, from left to right, first we've got Worthless.
Hello, I am the X project lead as of literally 2 weeks ago. Hello.
You make it sound like it's such a long time ago. Hi.
And then we've got, of course, Sir Snicklefritz Esquire.
It's me. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Thanks for having me back. Current lead and longtime player and all that good stuff.
And then we've got Rupture.
Hi, it's me, Rupture. I'm a project lead too now.
He's
And
new.
then,
I'm the newbie. I'm the
Yep.
intern.
And then we've got Expoler.
Hello. One of the project leads and also kind of helping on the staff side of ND official as well. Been fun, both ends.
Yeah. So I guess like right out the gate, so what is Neon Divide Alternative? How did this start? I guess rather let's start with what is it specifically?
Do you want to take it, Expo? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of, I
don't
guess,
wanna-
start a little bit of like how it kind of began, or it's kind of just kind of sort of simple when the maps went like live for season 2 maps. Yeah, just a lot of us kind of just hopped on, kind of did some improv, just kind of role play with each other, and within like the few months, we just kind of make our own Discord and just kind of hang out a bit more often, and just kind of fall from there. For a bit more like structured documents, the seasons, stories, characters. Just kind of just went from there. If anything else,
Yeah,
very reactionary.
it was definitely just a bunch of people just kind of fooling around in the public maps as soon as the season 2 maps went, public. And then a lot of us there were fans of the show, but then there were also plenty of people who were just VRChat role players looking for something to play in and things like that. And
Mhm.
it was the perfect playground for us to start off. I remember I was there with Einhander and Slayin and all them back in the day. We would just chase robots through the streets without access to any of the props or anything like that, and uh, dig through the dumpsters and everything. That's where one of the first places I ever played Fritz, and he's kind of been my go-to character since then.
Yeah, and so like literally that very first iteration of, what it would eventually go on to become Neon Divided Alternative. At the time, that was just a fan role play project where it was just in the public maps, in public instances as well, like not even closed off. Just anyone
Yeah,
could
it
join, kind
it
of.
it started off as just a bunch of like-minded people kinda playing together until, after about a few months. We didn't start it directly, we just happened to be the people who are, because it's gone through so many hands since then. But it was originally, like, some of the first members that I remember. When I showed up, Expoler was already there, we had people like Einhander, just Slayin, a few Mezzo, Liquid, and all them. They were big time players, and then they kind of said, "Hey, we've got something here," and it just turned into a regular. Every week we'd meet up and play, and stories started to evolve, and now we're at 4 seasons now. This is our fourth season, and it's our
Yeah,
longest one
yeah,
yet. We've been going for almost a year, and
man,
it's yeah, it's been a wild ride.
heck yeah. Of course. So, like, I know that you'll also do a map rotation rather than like all four maps open at the same time. So it's not quite as, it's a little bit easier to manage as well, from my understanding. Just not quite as hectic as trying to manage everything, and
Yeah.
kind of works for the population a little bit better. Is that like, because I know that I think all of y'all are involved in at least SCPing with the main project. How do you kind of feel between those two operations, like the two ways of running it? With like, do you feel like you miss it being larger, or do you feel like it kind of works on its own with it being
Well,
somewhat smaller? Or
well, we go. Well, I don't want to talk too much, but like we go through waves of players coming in and out because we're very open to
Yeah.
people who might have never played before, never done VR role play. Some people are just dipping their toes in for an afternoon, but then there's some of us like here that we've gone all the way from doing SCP work and official to running this project and herding cats. So we've had times where we were running 2 maps at a time, and we would go back and forth between the 2. But then it got to the point where, with the our SCP numbers, we also found it better that if we were on 1 map a day, players would be more inclined to help out on like places that weren't their home maps, which really helped ease that, strain and
Yeah.
stuff.
That's a good point.
That's one of the main reasons we switched.
Yeah, I feel like it was nice to really kind of keep people kind of just together overall. I know, like in the very beginning as well, when we first started off as well, we had like I think 3 days of sessions, which was at least back then we were having a lot of
Oh,
fun.
yeah,
It was
we-
like really kind of just a lot of ideas, the different maps and whatnot. But over time, we just kind of like slowly kind of went to just like the 1 map a day, essentially, just kind of rotating it from there on. So
Yeah.
It's
It's probably a good idea because, like, as excited as you can be for, like, oh man, I can role play 3 times a week. At the same time, it's like, that's how you burn out really quick.
oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's fun, but
I remember, we were running almost every day we possibly could, and then eventually it just got to be like, okay, we gotta hold on, we pump the brakes,
Yeah.
pump the brakes. We're getting a little.
yeah.
When I joined, it was running Row Wasteland on Saturdays and then Undercity on Mondays. And like that was all right because it was my first VR RP ever. Was this RP? So at the time it was all right, but then I wanted to expand and do other RPs, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is actually a lot. We went down to just Saturdays and doing 2 maps a week, and rotating through the 3. Once season 4 came around, we talked about going down to 1 map a week and rotating. I was against it at the time because I was worried that we would have too many players in one instance and people wouldn't be able to participate because of performance and such. Now that we've actually gone through the season and seen our player numbers and have a better idea of that, we have now reduced to 1 map a week because we can handle that with our amount of players, our amount of supporting cast, and the amount of DMs we have.
Yeah.
pretty much just keep an eye on things essentially and seeing how to adjust.
Yeah,
So
we've
Yeah,
been
and it's a-
adjusting a lot throughout the season.
It's a real tight knit type of staff too, because it's. Everybody that's on our staff has usually, started as doing SCP work and stuff like in the actual role play and everything, and it's all volunteer, and we all kind of try to pass the torch around to like all the other members and stuff and be like, look, I did it for a year, and then we pass the DM to some other people that might have ideas or might have stories that they want to tell. And that's kind of why even us as RP leads, like we're not the first ones to do it. I would argue like Slan, Mezzo, Liquid, they really started the whole project together, and then we've had other DMs like Super Sailor Moo, Java, and all them. They've definitely dipped their toes in and done their work and all that, and like it's definitely one of those projects where it's just we kind of hand the torch off and like all right, here we go.
Yeah, and that's kind of the obviously ND official has kind of had a similar lifespan as well.
Because it's the world. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly, yeah.
It's the setting. It's all of this. That's the really good part, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
it's not telling the stories of a bunch like an individual or a single party. It's there's a world that a bunch of people are coming in, living in. They've got their stories that are around for a little bit, and then the world kind of moves on if they die or if they leave the planet, and just kind of things keep going.
Exactly.
I did notice earlier. So y'all mentioned that you were only doing the 3 maps, so not including the upper city at first.
At first we did Upper City.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
At first we did, but then we kind of
Like season 1, you did Upper City, and then
our
Yeah.
first season we did Upper
Yeah.
City for a
And then
little
we
bit,
just
but we
kind of eventually
we
kind of
found it was
jumped off. Yeah, like
it we didn't have the SCP numbers at the time to really justify using a place like that because it is high security and
Yep.
everything, and also a lot of our corporate characters and stuff, even from their inception, were never meant to be CEOs or anything like that. They're the paper pushers. They're the middle management types and stuff like that, and we tried to keep it scaled down in that direction.
Mhm.
So we just didn't. We eventually kind of retired it. We're like, we're not going to use it so much because it just
Yeah, I
didn't.
mean,
It didn't fit a lot of the stories that
Yeah.
we were telling.
I mean,
it-
as well, the Upper City map, as official, has gotten rid of it and
Yes.
moved over to Union Heights for obvious reasons. I think the map is
Y'all
just
weren't wrong.
very large and there's not a lot in it.
Mhm.
And the numbers, I wasn't around back in season 1, but the numbers back then, I'm sure, were not enough to fill out that map with how big it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it requires a lot of heavy lifting on both GM and SCP side to just make it feel alive. Otherwise, very quickly, I mean, I know that for myself back in season 2 of and the official, like I was, when I was doing SCP work in there, it was just a lot of, okay, we need guards at all of the gates. We need to be trying to make ways for people to, be conversing with the guards so that the guards aren't just standing there all day. It was a lot of work to keep up. So yeah, I mean, it makes sense to not run with that, for sure, for sure. So in general, obviously, I think while some of the initial kind of DNA of the two settings, Neon Divide and Neon Divide Alternative, are kind of the same. Obviously, all the corporations are the exact same, et cetera. But
Generally, yeah, as
but
best we
things
can.
have, yeah, but at
Yeah.
the same time, things have kind of split off into your own sort of, storylines have happened that obviously haven't happened over here and in Neon Divide Official.
Well,
What kind
yeah,
of
'cause
big
I was just gonna say
changes?
because
Yeah.
we've been doing this for how long have we been going for this?
Around 4 years,
4? Are we on 4 years?
getting there.
Sounds right to me.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, so I mean, we've been going on our own trajectory kind of for about
Mhm.
4 years and stuff. Like we've had, I mean, we've had our own stories. We've had things where the Undercities almost exploded for a couple of reasons. We've had, Shimetsu robots going insane on the row and killing people and stuff like that. And a bunch of other things. I'm talking too
Yeah,
much.
very recent gang stuff. If anything, out of Wasteland,
Yeah, we've got a lot of gang stuff that we've had
Mm.
happen. We we kind of operated under, everything up until I guess your season two's
Yeah,
end.
season
I
two. Yeah,
think
for
end of
season
season
two.
that's
two
all
is where we
still.
split.
Because
It's
we
still
all
the
kind of
same lore.
started like after
Yeah,
season 2 Match went live
Mhm.
essentially. So we just kind of went off that like idea of like the
yeah,
lore
we
timeline.
yeah we went off the idea that a lot of corporate players left maybe or left Planet or there was just new people to tell stories for and we kind of went from there while still trying to keep all the key elements of lore the same. With the how magic and tech doesn't go together and stuff like that. We've eventually, and some of these were hiccups where we had to, find out the hard way where we've already had players playing for, a couple of weeks just laissez-faire, but they want to keep playing that character. And we
Mhm.
kind of wanted to keep exploring those stories, but then eventually we did kind of, all right, let's bring them into the fold. Let's make everything copacetic as best we
Yeah.
can. But at the same time, there are certain things where we might differ a little bit, like in how we treat the universe at large and stuff like that. And um,
Mhm. Mhm.
I think one big example is like, we think of it as like the war might still be going on out there, but here is where Union lost and stuff. And we try to
Mm, mhm,
think of
mhm.
how those
Huh.
different events might have impacted the planet as well.
Yeah. That's interesting. I don't think I actually knew that.
It's it's just something that kind of we keep it on the back burner and stuff, and just in
Mhm.
our minds, and just it's a way that we can make our own stories without
Yeah. No, for sure.
directly changing something that is like crucial to the setting.
Yeah,
Mhm, mhm,
especially
mhm.
since this is more focused, just here like the slumber, the slummers, and just the more like greater world itself. Again, we can still talk about it, but it's
Mhm.
more just the focus, I suppose you could say. But
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
especially because, like, realistically, a lot of the world that's outside of what we actually see of, in these maps that we're able to role play in, what's actually canon out there is whatever people say. So it's not really that
Yeah.
big of a deal to like start saying, well, maybe there's been enough propaganda for you to think that the war is over, or whatever it is. There's all
hmm
kinds of ways that you can work
hmm
around. Um, that's interesting though.
hmm And a lot of it is driven because like we have so many players and stuff that all have like amazing stories, and that's where we try to focus
Mhm.
a lot of our thing. Like every season we do usually try to have one big overarching plot line of some kind, but then especially in this last season and the last couple, we've really tried to lean hard into like how can we make story weaves happen, how can we intertwine one person's backstory into like 6 other people's backstories at
Mhm.
the same time by interconnecting, like, okay, you've got a corporate grandfather in your backstory, and then it's like, okay, so they were working on a machine that's in that person's mechanica
Sure.
story and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And that's a lot of the stuff that we try to do. We've got
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty much
story
one of
weaves
those
and
cases
clarity.
where we're trying to again facilitate RP, where other people get to roleplay with other people than just themselves, and just kind of again further help that in sense essentially.
Mhm.
my thumbs are weird.
Everyone feel kind of
Yeah,
included.
I can definitely say for season 4 that a main focus, as Fritz mentioned, is that story weaves are like our driving material for our narratives that we want to tell, and we
Mhm.
really made it clear, or at least we attempted to make it clear to our players, like, you guys will be the crux of the storytelling for this season. So
Mhm.
go nuts, like submit
Mhm.
everything. Like, we want to know your ideas. We want to know what kind of interactions you want and the stories you want to tell, and we'll find a way to make it work. And I think so far the crew has done a great job of doing that, and I'm excited to see what else happens.
Hell yeah, I got big plans for you.
Oh dear, I'm scared.
So on
They
that note,
just
actually,
started coming into fruition on Saturdays, so
I
I'm
know,
like
right?
freaking out for this coming Saturday.
um,
Trauma.
so like as RP leads, and as previously as an RP lead, were you primarily doing GMing, or was it kind of a thing separate from that, or do you tend to play characters, or what do you tend to do over at
You go
in
first.
Well, that may differ between all of us. The project lead
Oh yeah.
role in itself is meant to be more clerical. We're meant to like keep people like hey, we need this to be done, like hey, who can do this, who can do that. Keep everybody on task and be like this is what we
Mhm.
need to do. More like a leading role
Yeah.
for the staff side in the project itself. Most of us when I was a project lead, uh, Expoler, Fritz, and I were all lead GMs.
Mhm.
We took those roles as well. Project leads aren't lead GMs
We do have other
necessarily,
GM.
but we took those roles as well.
Mhm,
So
mhm,
all of us were GMing pretty much.
mhm.
Rupture, of course, he can speak for himself, but not a
Yeah.
lead GM, but a project lead. So they are separate
Mhm.
roles, but we took
Mhm.
Yeah.
multiple because the project needed it and we were willing.
So
Mhm.
in my case, I originally started out as a GM, but then shifted into the moderation position because due to IRL
Mm.
circumstances, my availability during session was like
Mhm.
excessively spotty. So I deemed it best, like I wouldn't want to be narrating something for a player and then immediately have to be like, I'm so sorry, I gotta go.
Yeah.
So moderation definitely helped out more,
Yeah.
to be more my speed, and then project lead. So yeah, again, as they mentioned, doesn't need to be strictly lead GM role, but I think the
Yeah.
variety is good.
Yeah,
As I said, project lead is a clerical role that helps lead the project. They're
Mhm.
they're not a GM.
And everybody on staff kind of does different lifting. If we need to play an
Mhm.
NPC or SCP. Sorry, I'm old and I'm going to use the word as SCP NPC interchangeably, and I'm stuck in my ways. But we all take on that role. We all do. We all do little characters here and there. We've all played characters before. I think he
Mhm.
still is a character. That's why I can't talk too much about story stuff. But
Oopsie daisy.
yeah, and all of us here have done, at least some form of, whether it's SCP work or
Mhm.
been a character in the story before, and then we, write them off in different ways, and then we do GM work and stuff when we can, and it's a lot of heavy lifting from everybody involved. Like even the players, because our players are also doing SCP work for missions and stuff. Like because we
Yeah.
switch off. Like okay, you went on a run, last week, so now you need to help us out on this next one, and
yeah. You can have
it's
like
a
a
good
rotation.
community for that. Yeah,
Yeah,
with the rotation and stuff, it's
Mhm.
Something that
amazing.
I think was a good change that we made, I think it was season 3. pretty sure it was season 3, but we introduced the flex role, so that you have your playable characters and your supporting cast players. But then flex role is people who have playable characters that they have an approved sheet for and are able to play, but they choose to be pulled away to
Mhm.
do SCP work during session.
Mhm.
And I would say that's had pretty great success in just increasing NPC numbers for a big event, or just people want to help out and are okay with being pulled away if they're not busy with the scene.
Yeah, or just
Um,
I just want to just do something just different than the character. Just hop away
right.
for a little bit and just come back
Yeah,
again. It's a
Yeah.
nice.
there's
Set
so
their
many times.
corporate
Yeah,
yard
there's a
for a
lot of
bit.
times where. Oh, go ahead.
No, you're good.
I was just gonna say, like, there's a lot of times where, like, yeah, I'll be playing, Fritz and stuff, but sometimes I want to be a bug and run around. Sometimes I want to cause
Yeah.
chaos as like a lizard or something. I want to do something else.
Sometimes you've done your chores for the day and need something else to do. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I
Yeah.
want to dig in the trash for a little bit. That's all.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Um, so another thing that I wanted to quickly touch on. So with the idea of having certain maps that you're running each week, and now like a specific map that you're running each week. So as the GMs, are you then able to come in as a character? Because it's a different map than you're typically running, or
Yeah, generally that's a good reason for it. We've always got at least two GMs on the map,
Mhm.
regardless. But I mean, yeah, like if I'm running the Wasteland at the moment and I've got both Expoler and Worthless here, like they'll come down as maybe a character that they're running a story weave for, or maybe they're playing a certain bad guy from a different faction that could be from a different map entirely, but he's using my map because it's a little safer for him to move around and stuff. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, we definitely all get to dip toes in it.
Yeah, that's something that I'm a little bit jealous of because, like, in official as a GM, like when we're in season, so like in season 3.5, I think I got to play my own, my personal GM NPC character. I think maybe a total of 15 minutes throughout the entirety of season 3.5, just because of how busy you are, when you're there as okay, we're on our map, we are the GM team for this map. We need to make sure that we're doing stuff.
Well,
Obviously, we could do like little
I mean,
NPC bits that
you've
we,
been to a
but
couple of our sessions.
yeah,
You
yeah,
see
yeah,
how
yeah.
how we're a lot of
Yeah.
the times we're just flying by the seat of our pants, like, I don't know, what do you want to do? Like, that's I have that
And,
conversation with my
I mean, that's the
SCPs all the
secret
time.
of
I'm just like, you guys got any ideas? Because I don't know what we're doing for the next 15 minutes. Like, we got a plot here.
Yeah, I think that's the secret of all GMing, and especially in VR, is that there's a
Oh,
lot
so
of time to just kind of, improvise and figure out mid-session.
and
Well,
there's a
we
lot of
kind of,
talent.
yeah, we
There's a
kind of
lot of
figured out what
talent
we were
too.
gonna do. We got everything that we had written down done. You know, we got some people that don't have anything to do because either they don't have a character made yet or whatever. Let's figure out something for people to do. And it's definitely a constant.
Well, and there's a lot of talent too, especially like even
Yeah.
in the this is gonna sound put downy or something, but we have a lot of players that have never done this before. Like, I mean, VRRP, D&D, tabletop RP, any
Mhm.
kind of RP, like not even a drama class or anything like that, and this is their first steps into it, and some of them have amazing ideas where they'll hit you with like, can I just go over here and like catch a fish or something, something silly like that, but it's exactly what it needs at the moment. I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, let's do it, let's
Yeah.
go, and they'll
Yeah.
have a blast doing it.
Yeah, just kind of go with what you're feeling with. Have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. I think that's always one of the things that always strikes me is that it's rarely that, like, when you run into new players like that, it's less that they're inexperienced and don't have these great ideas. It's much more that they don't know that they're allowed to just present ideas. It tends to
Yeah,
be a thing. So it's always
or
good to
being
be able
told
to.
to do whatever you want, I feel,
Yeah.
is probably the worst thing that a lot of them hate hearing, that the do whatever you want. That's why I always try to rephrase it as like a, do you have any ideas that you'd like to
Mhm,
try?
mhm.
Things like
Yeah,
that, and then that
and
usually
that's
gets a
kind
better
of
response.
yeah, and the fun thing too, the whole like kind of VR roleplay experience that I feel like most of the time it's kind of like that improv nature with it. Just kind of like
Yes.
thinking of ideas kind of on the spot or that kind of with like that prompt to kind of go with.
It can bite us in the ass sometimes, though. I'll be frank. Sometimes it does bite us in the ass as GMs, where we're like, "Oh, they shouldn't have said that," but I guess we're doing it, huh? Okay, let's go.
Yeah. I mean, GMing, as much as we plan and write things, this goes for every RP. It's role play. Whether you're a GM, you're a player, you're supporting guest, it's improv. So things are gonna happen. You're gonna do things on the spot. It's gonna happen.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you make mistakes. It happens. It's all improv.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially as a GM, I'm having to make shit up. Like, just, oh, his name's Jeremy. I don't know.
And plus, I mean, I feel like, every GM at some point has that oh shit moment where like you have the big bad come out early to like give a
And they
monologue,
just gun him down or something.
and
It's
they hit him with a spell that gives him diarrhea on the spot, and you're just like, okay, like
But I
this
love that.
intimidating moment. Yeah, exactly, and you just have to
I
learn to
love
roll
it
with
so
it.
much.
It's
Yeah,
something that you
it's
get
so much
scared
fun.
of, but you survive it, and then
It's so much more fun
yeah,
to just be like, well, I guess that's what we're doing now, huh? We're making
yeah,
triangles today, I guess. Let's do
yeah,
it.
yeah. Exactly. So I guess, again, earlier we were kind of talking a little bit how you've kind of diverged in obviously the things that have happened in the two settings now. Um, what are some of your favorite like plots that have kind of gone on in NDA that obviously haven't happened in the official?
You want to
I mean,
start
in fact, if you
exploring?
want to, yeah, if you want to go down the line, in fact, that'd
Give
be
me a
awesome.
bit here. I'm going to have like 4 years of memories here, just memory lane, like, which one
There's a
to
lot.
like pull from? Yeah.
There's a lot.
hmm. The first one kind of comes to mind here. Because honestly, I'm more of a guy that just kind of enjoys the more like that simple thing to kind of day-to-day things, if anything
Mhm.
else. Just
Oh, yeah,
because
yeah,
it's
yeah. Doesn't
just,
doesn't even need to be a major thing, even if it's just like a moment that happened in a role play that, you just absolutely loved.
I might be a little bit biased, but we had a moment in season 2, towards the end of season. Our early season numbering is very nebulous because like a lot of us can't really decide when our first like official season actually
Mhm,
began,
mhm,
but
mhm.
we had our own little siege of the Undercity, and we basically had to like hold off the Undercity from this splinter group of um were they were Union Shadow? Like, they were, like,
The
basically,
Shadow
like, a wy
Shadow
Wyverns.
Shadow
Shadow
Wyverns,
Wyverns. Yeah,
yeah,
they
I
were,
think
like,
so.
Mm.
this
Yeah.
group that was kinda like the Wyverns, but, taken to an extreme
Mhm,
of,
mhm.
those type of but, like, yeah, we had to hold off the entire Undercity, and we had corporate characters on one side holding off the clinic, and then we had, like, all the Undercity, townies and stuff near Fritz's shop, which was the junkyard shop. I think, shoot, what's it called now? Devil's Details.
Devil's Details,
Where
yep.
yeah, that's right. We
Yeah.
were living and we were like holding that off as like a siege and stuff. That was probably one of my favorite moments.
I'd probably say the anti-human bill for me, or the demi-human bill. Even though my character wasn't actively like involved in that plot much, I think it was just a lot of corporate lingo back and
Mhm.
forth, and just a
Yeah,
lot
doing
of
their shady.
shady stuff. And I just thought it was cool to watch other people's characters get involved with that and just see where they took it. It was a lot
And
of
so
fun.
Mhm.
and so that was
Yeah.
kind of a bill that was being passed to kind of like de-citizenize some of like your
Yeah,
non-humans
It
or
stripped the
Essentially,
rights from all non-humans on paper.
is
Mhm.
what it
Whether
was
they
supposed
actually
to
have
be.
rights
Yeah.
or not, who knows? Corporates do, but on paper
Yeah.
it would take them away, right?
Mhm.
So legally
Yeah.
they aren't people.
And we
Mhm.
had like, we had some corporations that were vehemently against that, and then we had other corporations that were like, no, that's a good thing, and then we had others that were like, no, we're against it on camera, but then behind the scenes, like, yeah, we need to make sure that this gets, we can't, ooh, that type of
Mhm.
stuff.
Some good old corporate dystopia stuff.
hmm
yep.
Worthless, you got a favorite?
Oh God,
It's your turn. What? You think
I
you're just fucking
uh, I gotta like think.
talk?
Uh, well,
The sweep of one shot.
I think, I mean, I just really enjoyed playing my character in season 3. My first VR roleplay. So, my character
Mhm.
Jensen Blake. I was a therapist. Horrible decision. Don't be a therapist in a roleplay. But you know,
Stupid.
I'm gonna. So, one part where Neon Divide Alternative differs is it's had a focus on psionics in the past. I like psionics a lot, like a lot. Like I love the flavor of it and everything. I think it's really fun. My character was a psionic character. That was my part of my thing. I'm a therapist who has psionics. I loved a lot of that. I had a lot of fun with it, a lot of like psychological horror elements that I played with and hallucinating and stuff. And that was a lot of fun to play with. I like playing with that. It wasn't really a plot, but it was something I enjoyed playing with as my character. So I enjoyed a lot of that last season.
I mean, that's also there's something to be said for, if you've been a long time GM, being able to play your character is a lot of fun when you get the
It,
chance to do it.
man, it that's so true because like, and that's one of the reasons I'm so excited that ND official starting back up here again because like I miss playing. That's my biggest thing right now is like I miss being able to just play my character, just show up, play, and just experience, like kind of be in the audience, quote unquote, seat for a little bit to see how the world's going on,
Yeah, being
rather
the
than
world
the
again.
side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
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 I know.
that's,
Uh,
it is the
Yeah,
best.
so
Yeah,
much fun playing Jensen.
Yeah, I know just recently too, like some of the players in the last session, like called for like my character Leah to come in and like, yeah, sure, I'll just show them the meat shop, give us some meter, have a little bit of some details and info. It's really fun to get back to it again. Although I guess going back to like the question you had before about favorite moments, there are
Yeah.
some fun moments with trying to use some like the GM tools on map, which is always kind of a fun thing. Try to get working.
Oh
I
my
think
god.
I think one of the fun moments we remember, I guess it comes out a lot from missions that we're trying to do,
Where
certain
is it?
things with
Where's it
it.
going?
Like, worthless. Remember that one time that we were using the car to everyone the getaways? And I was just kind of like, moving it, and it almost like just like hit one of the walls by accident. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
no, on
please."
the mission we were driving away and I was like driving it, pretending, and you
like,
flew us into a
oh.
wall.
Secret fun fact. Secret fun fact for everybody: the fastest car in the wasteland. I don't care what anybody says. It's the Pillbug golf cart. You can launch that thing off of a sand dune into the stratosphere, no problem. We do it
I'm
all the time.
actually pretty sure that is 100% true and not even
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's actually
you
just
can.
fact.
I mean,
To fly.
go.
Because I think it has like the
amazing.
largest or fastest
It's the
recharging
boost.
boost bar or
It's the
something.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
The boost for how small it is, it just rockets that thing across
Yeah,
the
it
sky.
launches you. Which,
Yeah.
if you're playing a Pillbug, is exactly how you should be driving that.
Yes.
I
The
just
Sky
remembered.
program in the wasteland. It's
Oh.
amazing.
I just remembered favorite plot, and it's just been so long. My brain, it's like hard to remember all of my last season playing my character. Super Sailor Moon and Liquid Madness did something really horrible to me. Forever
Deserved it.
traumatized.
You deserve it.
So I was in a call with Liquid Madness one night. My backstory is my wife's dead. Oh, tragic. And they're preparing a story with this Trident superstar who has a persona fix and such. And I was like, be messed up if my wife's brain was in her head. And then 3 days
Crazy.
later, the session comes around and they just do it. And so there's this girl who has a persona fix and my character's wife's brain mixed in. So it's like 2 people in one brain. And it was really messed up, really horrible.
it.
And
I loved it.
yeah, so
I loved it.
it was really, really horrible, really traumatic.
We like to hurt each other.
It's
We
true.
love. I mean, this is gonna sound messed up, but like we love the trauma RP of like
yeah.
the
A little fun teasing here and there.
yeah.
think
We
that's
have
true
the
with all
jokes and the
roleplays,
levity
yeah.
and the silly. We
Yeah.
have limerds and pillbugs and all that good stuff to like bring levity and stuff. But we also love the like. We're gonna break some parts of that character's brain a little bit just to make them hurt. Like, and it's gonna be fun. But
I mean, as a role player, you don't want to have a character to which nothing happens. Like
no, that's
you
the
want
worst.
you want things to happen to your character, even
I always
and
want to suffer.
yeah, exactly. And so that's why, so
Still-
often like people enjoy the suffer RP because it's like
Yeah.
that's
It's-
like a great way to, develop a character to kind of test your character's ideals
can
and
be cathartic.
motivations.
Yeah,
And,
it
yeah,
can really be
Something to
cathartic.
change for against this persevere and kind of keep it through all the way still. It's a fun way to kind of like see where it goes for said character.
exactly.
I mean, my first session, supporting cast for Neon Divide Alternative at the time, Fan RP, for
Mhm.
season 2. I was a snail, and I think that was my first ever VRP session, and I learned from that day forward that I wanted Suffer RP. Being a snail taught me that.
Being a snail taught you that you wanted Suffer RP.
Yeah.
Was this a particularly traumatized snail, or just?
I had my lungs caved in and broke my legs.
Okay, yeah,
And
that
watched
sounds
my
Did
like
I do
friend
that?
die, and
do it.
yeah,
that'd do it then.
traumatic.
Oh, was that the day you guys had the funeral in the row, and then I like grabbed the casket because I thought it was like loot or something, and I ran away with it?
I don't remember it.
Literal loot goblet over here.
Yeah. What are you talking? Duh. You got nothing to eat in this place.
It's a way of life, I see. Yes.
Oh, I can't reach it. I'm too short. It's fine.
We do have some photos that you guys sent in.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
I mean, let me pull up the stream.
Maybe
so I can
go over them
see
and
those.
talk about them a little bit.
Yo.
Because
That's one of our
obviously,
early characters, Cyber Champ. I forget what was their character's name. What was it? I see you in the chat. One of our Avalon boys. Aaron Coin. Yeah, that's right. Aaron Coin. Yo. That was Aaron Coin. He was like a Hugbot specialist, I think. Was it his
ergo,
role?
Yeah.
on the,
Yeah.
Sometimes he did play the Hugbot. It was
Sometimes, yeah, that's where that one clip that we have. If we can play it later, it's a long one, but that's. Oh man, this is a nice group shot. There's old Fritz. I look stoned as hell. Holy
you
shit!
got
Look
a
at that
big
guy.
old nose there.
Look at that fucking honker,
Green.
huh? This is Avalon. You know, you got Dr.
This is the Row Clinic. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess from left to right we have. I forget Alice. No, Alice is the other cat.
Yeah, Alice is on the far right.
Yeah, Amelia on the
Amelia,
right.
Geb,
Yeah.
our Geb player. I can't
There's
tell.
Catbug's character.
Is that Catbug's character?
Yeah.
Okay, it's hard to tell. Back, I see anime head. Then we got Spoons. There's Ruina, our little magic decker lady. Is that a Moon Man?
That's Liev.
Yeah, got the hood up, everything.
I'm blind as shit. It looks like Moon Man. I'm sorry. I'm gonna shut up now. Y'all got this part.
That's literally a
y'all
spoiler.
Shut up.
This guy's just working. This is all great. Yes.
Then we have the lovely Welby Sloan, played by Stephen Beavan. I love him. Anyway,
I'm still gonna steal his arm.
be great. What? Is that Case, played by Builder?
Case Wheeler.
Case
Wheeler.
No, I think that's Jack. Is that Jackie?
It's Jackie.
That's Jackie. Yeah.
Jackie. And we got Mezzo.
This is before my time.
Who's the yellow? What's the yellow thing? I'm blurry. It's tiny.
It was Grim.
Is it Grim? No, that's not Grim's face. There's no way that's Grim.
No, the N, but yes.
Oh, the other Grim. Okay.
Yeah, and I got Ein next to Mezzo and Sailor
Mezzo, Sailor.
Bandit.
I forget what we were talking about here. What were we
Luna.
talking about? Is this before we did our own little Titan attack? Is that what was this right before our own attack on
It
Titan?
was season 2, I remember.
Yeah, I think this is when we actually fought the Titan facility. We've done a couple things that are direct ripoffs.
Was that season 2?
No,
This may have been before the Undercity siege.
Yeah, no, it's season 1 with Titan stuff. I never recall actually.
Because I think you guys met up in the clinic before the Undercity siege.
4 years.
But-
So much
but
things in my
Richard
mind.
was
Close
gone then.
together.
It's also kind of fun seeing like that there are characters that are in both worlds as well. Like obviously Fritz, is in
Who?
both.
What the fuck? Man? This is why I don't like you. Like this is why.
Wait, that's you?
Yeah, dude, glow up.
Yeah.
No, I mean
damn.
we've had crossovers of official characters come here to like our little world, and like we've gone over. I have infected your world, and I am now your problem that you will have to deal with in the coming months.
I did
and
play
also,
Jensen in
we've got
3.5.
Amelia and
So Jensen's canon and
yeah, there you go.
yeah.
we've been the best kept public secret. You know what I mean? And like it I'm not sure who this is, but we love the Hugbots so much.
Hugbots
They
are
are so
great.
much fun. Hugbots are
Cyber,
great.
they
They are
were not.
so
I feel like
murderous
it's
little-
Cyber because Cyber loves being a Hugbot.
Who doesn't? That was the thing,
You know.
Speaking of, if y'all ever need a proper Christmas themed hug bot. I specifically modified one for Neon. For
Really?
for
The
official
holiday
we had
special?
a
Cyber?
holiday special,
Yeah.
You hear
and
that,
I
Cyber?
man.
specifically here let me
I
pull
get
it
it
out
right
real
now.
quick. Yeah,
Christmas hug.
but
Oh, look at
Oh
him.
Jesus!
That
I
one's
so
remember these
big.
little bastards. Yes.
yeah, yeah.
They were fun.
It's perfect.
Yeah, I love the hug bots. The hug bots are so much fun in general.
They are.
They're
Mm-hmm.
so there's so much you could do with them. They're so
I feel like we
goofy.
haven't used them a whole lot this season, have
It's
we?
been
No.
a long while, if anything, but
It's
yeah,
been a minute since we had a good hug bot.
Mhm.
the revolution begins again. Yes.
Nobody in the row needs a hug bot. Everybody's happy
Everybody's
already.
happy.
I'm
Nobody
sure.
needs a hug. Nobody's
Nobody
ever
needs a
gonna need a hug.
therapist because
No, we've solved all of our problems.
Clearly,
Definitely,
yeah. Nothing will.
Where's my beer? Anyways,
Oh,
Kenji,
nice.
which is the cell, and
Yeah.
Mhm.
Friendly Explosions. I
Ancient
forget his first
Frost.
name. Agent
Agent
Frost. Yeah,
Frost,
Yeah.
forgot his
Aiden
first name.
Cross.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And friendly, of
Aiden.
course, one of my fellow Undercity GMs back in season 3.5 of Official.
Yeah, he's
Mhm.
been a long time. Both of these guys were
Yeah.
long time players in
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
I mean,
GTA. They've been there since pretty much since episode
I mean,
1.
Friendly
at
used to
least
be
in my book.
GM for Undercity, right?
Yeah,
For
Friendly
season
was
2.
one of our GMs. Cell
Yeah.
was, a player. He was also one of our good early on SCPs and stuff. He's had I think 3 or 4 characters in NDA alone.
Remember Ray? He's always around you.
Ray.
Remember
Oh my
Ray?
god. No, I hate Ray. I
What do
hate
you
Ray.
mean?
I
He's
hate
been there for
the
the best of
idea.
times.
No, because he's either a parasite or you're just gaslighting me, and either one of those is gonna get you shot.
So Ray
So,
Yeah, so
is,
Ray,
from what I
yeah.
remember, is like the VRChat alien
not
avatar,
real.
and
The
and
bit for
I wasn't
Ray.
really around for most of his bits, but from what I remember, he was just a guy who went around and was like, "Yeah, I was there at that party last week with you," or like, "I was at that
No, he
meeting you
wasn't.
had
No, he
yesterday."
fucking
Yeah.
wasn't.
Usually towards the end of an arc, he
Just
just
like
happens to show
somehow
up.
he's
And it's
He'll
everywhere.
show up at the
yeah.
end of a season
Yeah, bro,
finale or
he's
something, eating a sandwich, just like, man, that was crazy, huh? It's like, no, you weren't there. Anyways,
that sounds like a good quality Cell character.
Mhm.
Odette Lapistala, played by Super Sailor Moo. Her
nice
character
great
after she
great
retired.
ass, great ass.
True,
Mhm.
but her character after she retired, her Ayla, who was her longtime character throughout most of FanRP at the time, and she retired her in partway through season 3, and then played Odette Lapistala and retired
Yeah,
her this
basically
season.
the killer rabbit from Monty Python, but
Yeah, she's
in
like
Python.
very.
The
I lost the word. Don't worry.
deadly, hot.
There was
Very
a
very
term. Femme fatale.
Patel, there you go.
That
I also
was-
always
yeah.
enjoy having just previously we had Cell, who very clearly that's Joker from Persona 5.
Well, it's
I like how that's kind of a thing that is pretty standard in a lot of VR chat role plays of, people are using what models they can get a hand on, and
I
kind
feel
of
like we get away with that a little better because we don't have a whole lot of big avatar creators and stuff like that. We also don't have a whole lot of people looking at us to make sure that are
yeah, I
they
mean, part of it's
like
some of the VR chat culture.
limitations and stuff. Yeah, but we do have some. I mean, we've got some amazing model makers like my buddy, one of our players, Burning Snowman. We've made full. As soon as I'm loaded here, I'm not sure. This guy doesn't work
I
too
see
well on
it.
the chairs.
I'm
He
seeing it,
doesn't
but I
work
think
very
only
well.
because I saw it earlier, so it's
Yeah,
cached
I'll
for
wait.
me.
But I mean,
Yeah.
we've made our own Shimetsu characters. This is one that's recently made a unveiling, the yokai. So
Hell yeah.
we have some of our own bandits that we use. We have, I mean, players make some amazing avatars that we use, and it's that's another way that we change things up sometimes. That we do have our own.
Either from scratch, some from the booth, some just keep bashing it, or just big
Yeah.
edits. small
Yeah,
edits.
we use some
Yeah.
things are just blatant rips at, and we're not ashamed of it. There's 2 types of DMs: the ones who are honest about stealing, and the ones who are liars about stealing. That's really the way it is. Like,
It is sometimes kind of fun just kind of looking through just models for ideas and just like, oh, is that like, is that nowhere from Fortnite? Oh my god, I didn't know he's in
yeah,
Fortnite now.
is that
Crazy,
guy from
wow,
Fortnite?
like.
Yeah, one
Yeah.
of the main antagonists of season 2 was just a Fortnite model. Yeah.
Mm.
We ripped the hell out of
Fortnite
Fortnite
has
though.
everyone now, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
And
Um,
Jensen, before I did a head swap, was just Wel Ying from Honkai
and when we can, we
Impact.
try to make them as
Yeah,
customized as
exactly.
possible and
Exactly,
stuff. Like, I
yeah.
mean, we throw our own little logos on them and stuff. Like, this is like
Mhm.
a uh, corporate bandit, if that makes sense. Like, we have our own little
Mhm.
faction of certain bandits that are actually just all ex corpos, and then we have some that are all just Motorhead madmen. And I have terrible deep drift. I am sorry. God, sit still. Thank you.
But
Nope.
yeah, no,
All right.
it's definitely a thing that, like, throughout all of VR chat, that's a thing that you see pretty regularly. So it's always kind of funny seeing that it also comes up in VR chat roleplay as well.
It is
Um,
kind of one of the fun things to do as well is that some like people who aren't
Man.
like really knowledgeable how to make avatars, but when they do kind of
mhm,
sit down and try to learn the process of how it works, it's kind of cool to see like how they kind of like evolve like their level of skill with it over time. It's very cool.
mhm, mhm. No, for sure. And I think that's
Yeah.
one of the
There we
things that's
go.
really cool about VR chat roleplay is it really teaches, like, people get really creative and just are so willing to learn things that they didn't know before. You constantly are meeting people who are just like, oh yeah, this is the first character I ever modeled that, I just wanted to, like, I got some friends to help me out, or, whatever. Like, it's
Mhm.
constantly people are picking up new tools. There's new
Yeah,
modelers coming onto the scene. It's great.
it's that, and I mean, and like it's what started me first to like dive into Unity map making and stuff like
Mhm.
that, looking around and seeing like, what kind of things could I put together in a map world and stuff. And like there's some things that I might actually send over you guys' way at some point where it's like, here's some things I've made that are kind of Neon Divide looking and stuff. And so I mean like
Yeah.
it's one of those things where like I wish we could use some of these tools a little better. That is a big frustrating part on our end. Like
Yeah.
if I'm being frank, you know what I mean, is that we do have to work with basically last year's toys is what
Mhm.
we make do with what we can. And
Yeah.
we are still, we're grateful that people let us use them and everything, and we do
Yeah.
make the best out of it and all that. But
Which is you can do a lot with them already still, which is kind of the
we
fun
can
thing
do a
with it
lot.
still.
We can do a
Yeah.
lot
Yeah.
more than the vast majority of role plays out there, which is I'm
Yeah.
infinitely
It's
thankful
been
for.
nice to
Being able
see
to access
like
the
how
prop system is,
creative,
yeah.
yeah, how creative our staff has
Hey, in the
been
chair.
with the resources that we have. Has always been fun each season. So
Mhm. 'Cause yeah, like, obviously, y'all don't have the same access to the maps where you can say, "Okay, this entire building got blown up, and, we can just, like, over and official, we have access to the maps where we can just kinda, like, be like, "Okay, well, obviously, we're gonna make a big, like,
Hmm.
just fill this area with soot
Well,
and, like, break the door or whatever else we need to
and
Yeah,
do."
on
like
the
those
flip
like
side of
big
that,
news, yeah.
when you guys do your crazy stuff over
Yeah.
there in official, we have to like deal with it in the fan art. You're like, huh? So how are we gonna explain this big old hole in the wall this year? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
what are we
or,
gonna do
like,
here and stuff?
yeah,
Thankfully, it's
like the
lined
fact
up
that,
pretty
yeah.
good, but
Yeah,
one of these
yeah.
days
Yeah, like in
we're
the
gonna find some.
Undercity, for instance, like we had a whole upgrade to the clinic, or the tailor shop moved from
Hmm.
being a little booth into, it replaced that little cafe in the Air District.
Which
And so, if people were using the cafe in the Air District regularly,
mhm.
suddenly they've got to deal with the fact of, like, okay, we need to figure out a story reason for how,
Why did you change
why
your
is,
paint? Why
yeah,
is it a different
mhm.
corporation here? Why we just
yeah.
chased Masaru out of our Undercity? Why, which by the way, we chased the corpos out of our Undercity before you guys just, when we did it first. But no, but I mean, but we do have corporations that come down and stuff like
Mhm.
Avalon plays a big role in the Undercity on our side, but we've got the big Masaru building outside, so we had to do this whole like, hey, listen, if you want to change the paint, that's on your dime, but you can use the building and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah,
You know.
yeah.
So,
Back to the photos. So we've
yeah,
got
yeah, yeah.
some
Well,
we got some wasteland bandits. This looks like, if I had to hazard a guess.
Just maybe. Yeah.
yeah, little bit of a wasteland bandit situation. We that's one of our big bad guys that actually just died recently, Ignar Latros. He's huffing nitrolium Kind of like,
Oh,
yeah, a combination of nitrolium and volcanium is just flowing through that, and he huffs it a bit like Bane. You
just
know what I mean?
constantly. Oh, yeah.
Pretty much.
All right.
Just
People get
like
surprised how big he is once actually seeing him like more up close. Like, oh
yeah,
shoot,
he's a big boy. I think I actually have that model. If my drift would stop kicking me out of this chair.
That's always one of the
Anyway,
biggest problems with regular VR use is just eventually you need to replace
drift,
equipment or
it gets
yeah,
you.
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
it's gonna
See
get
the
you.
statics in the air. Like, oh, I gotta plug the cable
Shockingly,
soon. Yeah.
Yeah, here it is.
yeah.
shockingly
Like
expensive
literally,
models for a free
yeah.
game.
Yeah, he's a big
Literally
boy.
after session, after this, I'm going to
Oh,
fit
yeah.
your roommate's controller for drift. So, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
Ignor's a
yeah,
big
no
boy.
kidding.
Yeah,
Giant.
he's a
Yeah.
big boy. Big
Yeah.
old boy. Played by
Yeah.
mostly Skith, my co-DM on the Wasteland. I know he's out there somewhere. Little bastard. But yeah, they recently killed this guy and in their own little bandit adventure out in the
Yeah.
Wasteland recently.
It was pretty like quite the room toward the end there. It was pretty intense from the looks of it.
That fight was awesome. I'm just kind of mad that nobody stepped on a landmine until like
Well,
the very
after
end.
kind of
Like,
thing.
yeah, they were. You guys
Remember, we
when
love to hurt our players.
we
so
set up.
landmines.
Yeah, we don't like to deliberately hurt players, but when you set up a minefield as a GM, it would really help if one of you guys would just jump on it. You know what I mean? Just jump on it.
Can
Whatever.
we
It
just
wasn't
jump on a
gonna-
mine,
Did they even
please?
realize they
just-
were there?
No,
At
but
the
towards the
very
end, and they're
end,
kind of walking
towards
away.
the
Just the
end,
two of them. Yeah, it's like, oh, let's just walk
Apex
for a
took.
bit.
Sorry, we're going off on a little bit of a tangent, but Apex
no.
took Alan
Ragrions,
back to the
yeah.
car, and on the way back to the car, they stepped on a landmine, and they're like, "Oh,
I mean, I
What
gotta say,
was
like,
Nice.
like my favorite method of GMing will all like, especially for VRRP, is make a bunch of toys, leave the toys out. Sometimes you might need to bring in, a GM NPC to show people how to play with certain toys, but otherwise you just kind of sit back and watch what people play with, and then you're like, okay, let's do something
much,
with that.
yeah."
Just
And
Sorry
so
about
set
does
up
that.
that mean
encounters.
leaving out literal landmines? That's what that means sometimes.
Mhm, mhm. Well, there's been many times where like for the SCPs and extras and stuff, like I'll just be like, "Hey, here's a goblin shit starter. Here's a lightning rune. Go have fun with this." You know what I mean? Or we have characters called Limmies, which are basically the Limmerds from Risk of Rain. And there was one time where we're like, just take this magical rune and act like it's a selfie stick, and just like walk up with like a greater fireball and just like selfie time, beep, and just detonate it right in their face. And
Good.
we're very violent, but at the same time, we're very forgiving in that when we're having fun, we're not going to just kill you outright, like with stuff like
Yeah.
that. But it is fun to just let players and extras just kind of go nuts with. Don't worry about the consequences. Fuck it,
Yeah.
do crime.
So who's this in this picture?
Let me switch back. Let's who we looking
That
for?
is
That's
all the way in
nasty.
the back, played by
That's
Demo Spawn. I can't
it's
remember
one of
his
our new
character's
ones.
name.
He's one of our
Yeah.
newest.
Yeah,
characters.
I believe Demo
Yeah.
Spawn's been around in like the community of Neon Divide in general for a while.
Yeah,
I've seen
Demo's
them
been around for a hot
they've
minute.
joined Neon Divide Alternative recently, and they're playing their big spider guy in the back there.
Yeah, he's a
Mhm.
butt. It
Then we
reminds me of
have
Jet Force Gemini almost a little bit.
then we have Just Locust there playing his character
Benny Riggs,
Benny
the new
Riggs.
sheriff of Scraptown. Oh shit, is that
Yeah.
public yet? Yeah, it is. It's public. basically.
Spoilers,
But,
bro.
shut up. Shut up.
Shut your mouth. Gunsmith of
He's
Scraptown.
another person we like to abuse. He's a lot of fun.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's fun.
And then
And
in
then we
the
have
front,
Wallflower played by Feliday.
Holiday.
And the recent edition for season 4. Been fun.
Yeah, very recent. They've been helping as supporting cast
Monkey
and
with the grenade.
recently applied as a character.
The monkey with okay, yeah. Knickknack's making me bring this up in chat, where he says the monkey with the grenade. I wish we had that. Oh man, I wish we had that. We had loose monkeys in the.
That's such a good clip.
We had monkeys in the Undercity that were part of like a circus, and
Yeah.
something about Fritz's character is that he always carries a grenade on him. Like that's just So when I went to go interact with these loose monkeys in the Undercity sewers, one of them grabbed the grenade off of me, detonates it, and then just goes and throws it like at his feet and runs away. Meanwhile, we get desynced to where only half of us see it, and so like Muggs, the robot MP robot's like grenade, and then just throws it into the fucking river.
Yeah. It was kind of crazy because it was all like an accident. I think the monkey.
Yeah, it was all just
player character. He got it by accident and detonated it. It was like, And really was thinking like, oh no.
Yeah, yeah.
That was
Panic
before
monkey
I
noises.
joined, but it's one of the best clips. It's so funny. I wish we
I
had it.
wish we had it somewhere. I
Oh,
know
man.
somebody in the community's probably got it
If
somewhere.
someone in
Mugs
chat wants to
probably
link
has
that,
it.
yeah,
Yeah,
if someone
like
does and can get that to
Please,
dog,
yeah,
'Cause I
yeah.
think
If
Yeah.
someone
that'd be
can link that to
amazing.
dogs.
yes.
It's a clip on Muggs' channel, I think.
I think,
right?
I think Mugs has it. Mug Queen Ghost. If
From
they
their
have it,
POV,
they're
they might have
around.
it. Yeah.
God, it's so
Mm.
good.
And then I think we had one last photo as well. I'm assuming this is the same group again.
Yeah, which Mugs
Yeah,
is
Similar
on
group.
yeah.
with yeah, the pink.
That's Mugs as
That's
Specs,
Muggs' character, Specs.
the dog
Little
person.
little
okay.
dog.
Gotcha.
Terror.
Also the new
We got
like
it. Oh, Knick-Knack says
And
we
got
got
it?
it.
Okay.
Oh,
The
But
new
that's
mayor
Mugs,
of
Specs,
Scraptown.
Yes.
Specs and that taser are
They're
the
actually a
bane of my
criminal.
existence.
They're a
They
psychopath.
are a true
Somebody needs to
criminal.
do something about them.
I don't know why. How did they get elected as mayor? That seems. But hey,
Scraptown's filled with crazy people. It's
y'all
the
made that
wasteland.
decision.
you
Y'all
know?
made that decision.
Who
That's on you.
would want to go to the wasteland?
Well, they got the clip.
all
pulled.
right.
Shut up.
Let's
Wasteland's
do
the
this
best.
clip.
Oh, yep, here it is.
Have they got audio going or?
Yeah, it just might be quiet.
Let's give him a banana. I don't hear any audio.
I hear it.
Like, he's because it was on my inventory, so I never saw him pull it. So he just starts screaming. I thought he was screaming because of the banana. Thank
Nope,
God
the live
Muggs
grenade
did it.
that went off.
Yeah, thank
Just
God
pulled it
they
out of your pocket.
That was the old Chris. That was when I did a lot of drugs.
Man.
A lot more drugs. Anyways, a lot more. Oh, God.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So we did also have one other clip. Wait, is this a
That was a
different
bit
one?
longer. Wait, which one? The
This
So
is-
seven
this is
hot
the
dogs?
season
four, like
four
video, yeah, that
trailer.
retro
Oh, that's the
made.
trailer.
Yeah.
We would definitely have to mute that, unfortunately. But it is an amazing piece of work by.
If nothing
somebody
else,
in the
I'm
community.
assuming we could link that
Yeah.
somewhere where people can
Yeah.
find
Probably
We
it.
could
post
link
it
it, or we could
somewhere
like
with,
do a commentary watch. or
Yeah.
something on it. You know what I mean? Like a
Mhm.
commentary.
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
The audio
better
is
off-
pretty great. There's a lot of voiceover work
Mm.
done for it,
Yeah.
so posting it somewhere
Yeah.
would probably be cool. Retro Revelation put a lot of work into
That's
this.
why we
He's
did-
honestly
Very cool.
probably one of our most creative community
Honestly,
members.
yeah, he's amazing. He's done some really
He
great
plays
stuff.
a
Grin,
lot of cool videos.
lawyer wearing
Yeah.
the yellow mask.
Yeah, with the
He's
big
done,
grin on the
done
face.
like he's done like a Cowboy Bebop intro for a couple of like his character
yeah.
group. It was really
He
good.
joined end of season 2 around when I did, and he did like a whole video intro for his character that was like Saul Goodman, basically the whole Saul Goodman bit.
Yeah,
It was really good.
you hate the corporates? I'll come.
Well, yeah, then we'll definitely find a way to get that linked because I don't think we
Yeah.
can play it, unfortunately, if
That's
there's
fine. Yeah,
copyrighted
it
music.
does
Yeah,
have
there's a
copywritten music, but it if you watch it, you'll understand why it kind of has to be that music. Like it's perfect. Like why it's But
Heck yeah. Yeah, I think that's also touching on that. I think that's one of the really cool things that just you get with a lot of, both our communities really is how deeply invested people get and just like get really excited to, I mean, not only make avatars, but also, actually make full on little,
make art, make videos,
make art, make full on
whatever.
fully edited videos. It's great. It's amazing. It's one of my favorite things.
It's almost like that's as a vampire, that's what I have to feed on as a GM. You know what I mean? Like that's what makes me want to keep doing it is when I see them making these little videos and writing up their, even just the ones that do writing. I mean, like there's some great writing skills there where they write
Gosh,
their
yeah.
their little side stories that they write in the Discord,
Mhm.
or be it like a channel or a episode recap or something. And then you've got the avatar creators that make stuff, and just the players in general being able to
Just seeing what they
being
make,
able to
actually.
yeah,
kinda
and
see
being
that,
able
yeah,
to
just
think on
unveil.
their feet with this, because this is a medium that I think like a lot of people have said it. I think I've heard chair handlers say it 100 times. It's like it's basically acting one take live, and like whatever you say that comes out, once what you've said is out, it's like that's the story we're going with now.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
it's tricky to walk that tightrope.
It's
doing it
all
live.
it's
We're
like
always doing it live.
Yeah.
it's yes and improv, but like there's so many people involved and a bunch of people are streaming and it's like, okay, yeah, like, it's hard to kind of just like you say something and it didn't come out exactly the way you wanted, you
Ain't
run
no
with it.
reshoots. Yeah, there
Yeah,
ain't no
yeah,
reshoots.
run with
There
it.
ain't no
Yeah.
ain't none of
And,
that.
and that's kind of the fun thing too, with kind of big RP like projects too, where it's kind of like there's like different scenes going on here and there are one that I just feel like just those
Mhm.
different storylines are kind of just going just kind of parallel and just their own thing.
Yeah, that's fun.
I absolutely love that like you can play for an entire season, and then hear like someone like mention on episode 20 something like, oh yeah, no, I've been like really working hard on trying to, do this plot, and you're like, I've never even heard of this. What is going
Yeah, what are you
Yeah.
talking about? What,
Sure.
Yeah, or like,
Yeah.
wait, that's how it happened, or like it's
Yeah.
really
Yeah,
fun to
yeah,
see
yeah.
that. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah, it's so cool, like the kind of just interconnected world that you get to develop with VRRP in general.
yeah,
Um,
Mhm.
it's just, I love it. I love it. And as a GM, like it's really hard not to sometimes just not do anything, but just be a spectator for a while. You're like,
I do that.
I just,
I do
yeah,
that.
oh, yeah, yeah. Like
There's
I do it all
so
the
many
time.
times where I'll
It's
just
like,
sit like in the
it's like
corner
every
of a
now and then
room.
you're
and
like, you're like, oh right, I have to, like I have to get back because we were supposed to be getting, some drone coming down and inspecting something.
prepared.
I need to get
Yeah,
that
yeah,
going.
I can't just watch my show. No,
yeah.
hold
Somebody
on,
just
I'm
sitting
watching my
back here, looking at the
novellas.
remote channel, just going,
Yeah.
"Hey,
So
look at this channel. What's going on with these folks?" Like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Man, I swear,
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill this controller.
It's
It's fine.
Do it
It's
live.
fine. We always do. How we
Yeah.
doing?
Yep, yep. We did have another video that, like, we were talking about hug bots earlier. If we just like, we don't have to, watch this whole thing or even, go into crazy depth, scene by scene or anything. But I know, speaking of hug bots earlier, uh,
Yeah.
I haven't seen this video in such a long time. I think
This
this is
is
actually
an
how I found out
early-
about fan RP.
Is it really?
Was this
Yeah.
video?
This is back when it was called Fan RP.
And then I had
that's
to
what it
ask
was.
in like the community Neon Divide Discord, being like, because the people were in VC back then, and I was like, "Hey, what is this? How do I get in?" And back then, it was a lot harder to get in because you had to DM the people involved directly, but you don't know the people involved. It was a lot more
Yeah.
difficult back then.
Yeah, I haven't seen this one in a hot minute.
and so this is like a video that someone's edited together, and
Yeah, cyber.
Yeah, this is
Cyber
from
Champ,
Cyber.
yeah.
This is
Okay,
from
cool,
Cyber
cool, cool.
Champ again, and I mean, I actually should unmute. Oh.
This is kind of one of the classic things that you see is people figuring out what they're doing, like, and just developing bits on the fly in front of the mirror in the spawn room. I love it.
This is 90% of like what goes on in the SCP room is just two dudes just hanging out in whatever avatars we happen to give them, and just hope for the best.
Here's your prompt. We'll just go from there. See, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, genuinely though, like same thing in official as well. Is half the time, half the bits that come up are kind of like we'll have a baseline of what we want to cover for the episode, and then someone just comes up with a great idea in front of the mirror and in the prop room.
Hmm.
That's when we were very lackadaisical with guns against synthetics, but we still kind of are because they're toasters.
It's just machine tools, Yeah.
Mhm. The old sign. Yeah, I think this is definitely the one of the old rows too. Like
Yeah,
this.
season 2.
Yeah, this is the
Maps.
season 2 row when you guys still had the caution sign up.
Oh yeah, yeah. The hug bots are so much fun to play in general.
Old cat bug model.
Oh man, I don't think I'd seen that.
Oh,
That's Friendly's first character. Yeah, Mr. Cross, the fucking Masaru
He's
HR
really
guy.
into his coffee. Like he needs his coffee.
Yeah. Old Jackie, Runa, everybody.
Sweepo.
Repos, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Granny.
Granny, Shimitsu
Oracle.
Granny. That's
Yes.
Oracle.
Yes.
Oh man. Oracle's one of those people that's from like even they've been with us since they were playing Ront as little like cameos early on and stuff, and they've had a number of characters. This was I only ever called her Granny, but she was like this old like IT specialist from Shimetsu, who's probably the scariest member of Shimetsu. Whoa, what's he doing? What's he doing? No, change it. I don't like it.
What is going on?
It's a hug bot, it's just a hug. It's just
It's
a
just
hug.
doing his
I'm looking
purpose.
at the hug bot. I'm
Okay.
looking at the Sweepo. What's going on back there?
Oh, don't
It was just, doing his job.
listen. We don't talk about what the sweepos do.
Who's that?
This is why we leave before like the people arrive.
Is this when I give you guys a knife? I forget what I was telling you guys to do here.
Oh, you need hugs. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, I already gave you a hug, so I don't think mine would work. Okay, so how do we break it? Lethal hugs.
Lethal hugs.
Hey, how you doing?
Lethal hugs.
Well,
Sweepo knows what's good for them. They'll have those things we
how are you?
sold them.
Okay, what's up? Okay, give us an idea. Okay, what's the idea?
God, old Fritz was a trip, huh? That was a fucking Muppet.
And just that big old nose.
Okay. Lethal hugs. No lethal hugs. Lethal
I've always described ND, both, official and this one, and Knick-Knack hates it because of how true it is. I say it's basically just Sesame Street in the future with curse words and guns and hookers. Like that's all ND is. Sesame Street with guns.
I mean, maybe the row, just because it's a street.
I mean, no, hold on. I think in Sesame Street they go to other places too. I mean, they go to Elmo's world, which is obviously Upper City.
Town has its
Like,
moments for sure.
but I think that's one of my favorite things about like the whole setting in general is that among like in all of the different worlds that you can go to, there's a little bit of every genre kind of intermixed into all of them.
Yeah.
Like, and so whatever interests you more, there's something for that. Like, you have your Undercity, which still has a little bit of the tech stuff, but it also has more of the
A little bit more focus on the
fantasy,
magic.
the
Magic.
fantasy, the
Mhm.
silliness of the fan. I say silly, but the whimsy and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And then you go out to the wasteland, and it's got all of that Tatooine feel.
Bit of
How
Mad
many-
Max.
How many people do we have?
It?
How many people do we have in Mandalorian armor out in the wasteland? But then we also bring in like Kurosawa type cowboys and samurai type players out there, and
Or some big old monster or something.
yeah,
Yep.
Monster Hunter type stuff out there that you can get into. And then for the row is where we get into the more the
It's more of a
corpo
melting
versus-
pot, yeah. Like
Yeah,
a melting
and-
pot, but a little bit more tech focused for sure.
Well, that's why I'm also really excited for when you guys finish with Union Heights and we get to use it and run in there like the little rats we are afterwards. Man, we're gonna have some fun there. That's for sure.
I like how you can see Detroit Sentai there.
But
Another
That
person
guy.
who went from being a
they've been there
GM in NDA, now a GM over
For the
in
same map.
NDA
too.
official, same map, yeah.
yeah,
He was
I mean,
Wasteland
they were-
GM and
Yeah,
in
he's
both.
Wasteland now, yeah.
He's the one that passed the torch to me for the Wasteland.
And Friendly was Undercity GM, I believe, and
Yep.
in
Detroit's been here for a long time.
and now.
Yep. But yeah, I think, a lot of this, what we're seeing here, it's just like, I love how often, you'll just be in the middle of a scene and then, you'll just kind of someone will walk along that just happens to be the perfect, addition to the scene, and they'll, join in if you want them to. You grab them grab them for whatever they're
Hey,
doing.
what kind of hug am I giving that robot? What is going on
That
there?
half body hug, yes.
That half body hug. Listen, not all of us can afford full body everything. All right, listen. Me and Coach get to sit like T-Rex arms, and that's fine.
Oh yeah, no, it is always funny. Like
It'd be like that.
definitely a certain recognizable, you'll see people walking around like that. But
What was comfortable, Yeah.
yeah. No, I mean, I say that like I'm not resting my arms on an
I
armchair
mean,
right now.
the last session I GM'd for NDA was the Wasteland mission, and I was laid back in a recliner under a blanket the entire time. I just used Horizon Adjust, so I was upright.
Oh yeah,
just laying down the entire time.
That's the secret to GMing that they don't tell you is you could be just laying down. You can be in a beanbag. You don't need a full body act anything unless you're
Yeah.
playing in like a GM
I mean-
NPC of some kind.
I don't know about you, but my quest reaches to the bathroom. You know what I mean? So,
Okay, bud.
what?
You can go anywhere with it. It's amazing. Wow.
Yeah,
He can go in RP and in real life. Just be in a VR booth and they hear you in there, and
pooping.
you come out, you're like, you don't want to go in
Flush. Literally come out of a VR booth.
You get the
and,
flush
the
sound.
toilet.
There's not even a.
What's
What you doing there? It's a VR booth.
It's digital. It's all digital. It's digital poop.
What do you mean?
I still say I've been vehemently like fighting to get a prop added to officials repertoire of just a little poop, just a little poop, just a little poop.
Well, I mean, weirdly enough, the Undercity has
Is auto start or something?
Oh yeah. We had there's a secret little. It's not really a secret, but
Undercity?
in the Undercity between two of the buildings in the Water District, there's an actual outhouse that
For
is
some
almost
reason.
impossible to see.
It's in the darkness of that corner.
In the water, in the water treatment plant area, the one by the sauna.
Yeah. I
Steam deck?
think that
You
has
go
what
back
it's called.
there.
Yeah.
There's a little poop.
Yeah.
There's a poop
Wait,
bucket
there's-
back there. I've
Yeah,
seen it.
yeah.
Trust me. I've seen
It
it.
is one of my favorite stupid.
We hide
bits.
treasure in there. We hide
These
treasure
are
in
my
there all the time.
favorite stupid bits to
Oh,
just
good to know.
as a GM NPC, just kind of hide in there, wait for someone to come by and be like, hey, don't look over here.
Whoa!
Yeah,
a poop.
Yeah. I think
No,
I've
man.
only got someone with that once before, but it's such a stupid. I love that there's just an open toilet right there.
My
it makes
thing
sense,
sometimes
sewer.
it's just being a GM avatar and something they can't see. You're like, oh, where are you? And sometimes it's either really small with the avatar or I'm really big with the avatar and just I appear like, oh,
Little tiny.
oh, little guy. Okay, just sometimes.
Tiny hands. DM tiny hands.
I do love that we have that ability to mess with now, because that was something that we didn't have back in. I think we had that back in 3.5 that was introduced, the ability to shrink and
Blues.
Yeah, that was a VRChat update around then,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember
Speaking
that
of GM
specifically
hands.
dogs we shrunk at one point. Our good tech guy and cameraman behind the scenes here, he came to the Undercity and official, and we shrunk him down because the spirits got angry with him
Oh, I
for something.
remember that.
Yeah.
I was a
Dogs has
spirit in
been-
the Undercity at the time.
Dogs has been pretty instrumental to fan RP as well. I mean, I can't think of how many times I've killed that man as as either a Shimetsu guard or a bandit or something along those lines. We've had a lot of fun. He's helped us out in the past. Yeah, Dogs is fucking great, even though he is crouched in the corner there.
I die a lot in both role plays.
We live many lives. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, with the whole resizing stuff, we actually have a spell we approved that a player submitted.
Enlarge, reduce.
Yeah, we have an enlarge, reduce spell that player submitted, and we accepted it. So now there's a spell you can cast to shrink someone not all the way down and not all the way up, but I don't remember what the numbers are, but it's a specific
reasonable,
number you
yeah.
can make
Yeah,
it
it's
up or
I
down
think
to.
we just kind of fly by the seat of our pants on that one.
Yeah.
Reasonable.
Something actually that reminded me of is so y'all actually not only did your kind of lore and the stories that have happened kind of diverge, but also some of the like the systems that y'all have are entirely made by NDA and original to you guys at this point. Um,
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
because
and that started as. Did you want to go on
yeah,
that? Or?
because for early on, it was kind of improv, very open for what we kind of did. Kind of just went with what
mhm,
we kind of knew essentially from the setting and just what we could do in a sense. But over
Mhm.
time, got a bit more people and we're like, let's put a bit more some structure into it. Just kind of made
Yeah.
our own handbook after like a lot of time. It was like a lot of work was put into it. It was very helpful towards the end as well to kind of help keeping things consistent and working with essentially.
It's one of those things that it really happened out of necessity, like especially where our rules changes that we had. You know what I mean? Just because we don't have access to a lot of the back end systems of things that
mhm.
we kind of had to make our own rules that fit what we could and could not do
Yeah,
feasibly on the maps and stuff like that.
Because
So
like the
like
character sheets, you don't have like the website where
we
you
don't
can
we never
put
had
that
access
in.
to
Yeah,
the Nexus or any of
no.
those things. We never and so if we throw something in the trash, it's gone for good. So a lot of our inventory tracking is all, very old school where you have to
Mhm.
take a little second and actually add it to a side document. Yeah,
yeah,
thankfully.
Yeah, I mean, I
Um
know a lot of people, even in official, prefer that over the actual, backpack
Mhm.
system.
and
yeah.
and then I mean, and we've had our own classes. Like we tried out like psionics as its own class for a
Mhm.
little bit.
Good skill, yeah.
There might be, I mean, I've sat in Discord calls with like Knick-Knack and you and everybody like and stuff, and we've all had chats and stuff about rules. And sometimes there's things that like they might say in passing that just kind of inspires us to be like, oh, that'd be something cool that we could try. And I think it might have been sometimes where like I'll
Oh,
say, yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
this is what NDA is working on right now. What's your input as somebody who might have like gone through this type of stuff, and we share
Yeah.
Mhm.
ideas back and forth. um because it you know it really was a thing where we weren't talked about because we didn't want to feel like we were stepping on any toes and things like that. So when we do make the changes, we try to make them as respectful to like what you guys already have and stuff. Like what are things that we can do that doesn't exactly break anything, and like is there anything that we can know that helps us make rules and stuff in the future. And I think we're finally at a stage where we can, a lot of like the rule staff can sit back and go, this all looks really cool, like, and we don't have to do a
Mhm.
whole lot. And like
Yeah.
it's only because of the giants that came before us. Like, yeah, we make our own iterations as we go through it, but it's
Like the core foundation of it is kind of still there.
yeah, which I mean that
Yeah.
was, like I said, the original big names of the three. I mean, Mezzo, Slayin, and Liquid and Ein sat down there. I know Scrap sat down there for a long time. I know you sat down there for
Yes.
I don't know how many hours and stuff, like just working on that. And
It's
it's the least enjoyable, but I think it's the most rewarding part of
yeah.
the
Mhm.
process. Where you really can hammer down, okay, how are players going to interact with the world?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very much that same understanding too. So like from what I've seen as well from ND official, and like this again, like recently got the handbook out too. So it's like just the whole process, the patience and the time and effort to kind of go through that as well. It's just like yeah, it takes time, but it's very rewarding to make it,
So
getting
worth
the
it.
foundation down for everything. So it's
Yeah.
moving forward. It's nice.
Because
Mhm.
when you don't have that kind of stuff, actually
You can't
having
be
to
consistent.
adjudicate one by one every single little thing is so much of a nightmare compared
You
to
can't
like,
be
okay, let's
you
get
can't be
just
consistent.
guidelines. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and be kind of
Yeah,
Because
fair
it's
amongst
hard enough.
everyone.
It's hard enough for, even if all of the main GMs are in the same call together. It's hard enough to keep every single thing going. Because I mean, it's a lot to keep track of as a GM. And even when we start disagreeing or we have there's been many times where Worthless will be like, "Hey, what's this?" And I'm like, "I have no idea what you're even talking about right now."
Mhm.
It having that solid foundation of rules is really important, so that when those big things come up, we can stay consistent and be like, "Look, this
Mhm.
is it. This is how that goes."
Yeah,
Um,
big thing with the rules is, and I don't think every RP needs to have many systems or rules. You can have very little and be good.
Yeah, sending out
But
that
when it comes to a
expectation.
setting as complicated as Neon Divide and so much stuff going on, as well as running multiple maps and so many GMs, a big point with having rules is to keep rulings fair and consistent.
Yes.
Because
Mhm.
without
Very good.
rules, different DMs might rule something differently, and one player might get less than another because of a GM doing something differently. But with rules, it keeps us consistent.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Now we are starting to wrap up here. Do we want to move
Do
to
we
a
have
quick little Q&A? Do we have any
I was about to
questions?
yeah, I was about to say, do anybody in the chat have questions? Does
We're going
anybody
to
know
keep
any
them to
cheap
NDA
anybody know any
specifically
anybody
for tonight.
well, I mean, you got any cheap controllers? Because mine is about to get thrown across the room.
Somebody in chat got a controller for Fritz.
Any generous heart.
No, 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 no,
Chuck
no,
that
no,
at him
no,
in his face.
no, 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 no,
Get Fritz a new controller.
no,
But do we have any
no,
questions,
no.
dogs? Before we... Yep.
That's fancy.
Um,
Yeah, the photo shoot was fun for our little because we did our own little
Oh
photo shoots too
yeah,
for our
I
players
had some
handbook and
sessions of
everything. That was
just going around taking pictures.
possible without everyone. Yeah, Mezzod, I know you guys spent a lot on that, and you guys taught us a lot too. I mean, sure, we might have done some things differently, but I'm sure the people that come after us are going to do things differently.
Mm.
Thursday, Fritz, I can get you new stuff after rocks. What is that? New stuff? No, don't you effing dare! Don't actually buy. Look what you did. Don't do that. I would never ask that.
All right, we got a question.
all right.
What would you guys tell someone who wants to get into VRRP for the first time, but doesn't know what to do or who to talk to?
Join us. We'll have a Discord link in the public ND server at the end of this that you can join us and play. I would also, just make a character and just go play in a world. You know what I mean? With other, even if it's not an organized role play setting. I mean, it can be a little intimidating, but just just jump in and do it. That's
Yeah.
my
Doesn't be like
best
a
advice.
big like infested like backstory thing. Give me something simple, just kind of go with and see from there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Start off with something like just grab one of the Slummer models that are kind of available in the prop room and just, figure something out.
I started
Yeah.
as a dumpster diver. Like that was
Yeah.
my goal. Was I was gonna find something in a dumpster, and I just spent the entire first session doing that. And it does take a little bit of patience to be able to sit through the blankness in between because we also can't cut to commercial. But
Yeah,
I'm
I'd
gonna stream.
reiterate what everyone said, but I'd also say, like, if you're worried about like your knowledge of the setting that you want to join or knowledge of VRRP or RP in general, like, don't. It's like I came into NDA was the first time I had ever heard of ND, and I had zero context of the lore. But immediately just scooped me up and was able to get on board really quick. And I would say don't let that fear of not knowing what's going on or having previous knowledge deter you from getting involved. I'd say
Right.
just get your feet wet, maybe RP with some friends in like your own instance, and if you enjoy it, then go from there. Join NDA, join another project, and just
Yeah, and this one might
never
not
stop.
be, it's a like this might not be the one RP that you want to be in, but I firmly believe that it is one that anyone can do and have fun in.
Yeah.
It's something anybody can play it, but it might not be for everyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
But
one of
the nice
those
thing
things.
though, there's others out there, so I can still try.
There are
There's
so many.
tons,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
so many,
Yeah.
and there. I mean, there's so many good RP groups out there.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
not
if
even
you're
all of
ever
them are streamed.
lost,
Like,
right?
Yeah.
You're ever
All of them are streamed.
confused, you don't know thing. Ask questions, whether it's like in the Discord
Yeah.
server or you're in an instance with GMs or players. Like ask questions. I'm sure
Figure
a
something
lot
out.
of them are willing to help you find your way. Especially in servers. I mean, a lot of RPs regularly get questions by their own players about things, whether it's lore or systems and stuff.
Yeah. Sometimes they
I
even
will
access
say
questions the staff side. I was like,
finding
that
the
is
RPs is probably the hardest part. It can be finding the Discord links because these are just small communities. They're not like very publicly like out there as much. There is, I don't have like the link to it, but there is like a repo site that's been made recently. I think I saw a
yes.
Solus post.
Yeah.
that has a
Or like the
bunch of
silent
people
help.
part
Yeah.
of RP
Oh,
projects
yeah.
putting their project on that website, so you can find all them on this one repo website.
And keep a lookout
repository.
I would say keep a lookout for VRCon as well. I mean, I know,
Oh
and
gosh,
he
yeah.
usually does a booth
Mhm.
there too. Like, there's always some kind of community there that's looking for new players
Yeah.
to join and stuff. Like, if
Yeah.
there's something there
I'd
that
say
might,
the bulk
Yeah,
of
from the-
those booths are RP communities looking for more
Yeah.
players.
Yeah, some
Yeah.
of the staff members are just kind of just there chilling and whatnot. Just
And
and
If
if
not,
VR
they'll have like a
RP,
Discord link or something like on a
yeah, and
QR
if
code.
VR RP is not for
Yeah.
you, there's also D&D, there's pen and paper, there's all sorts of different little
Yep.
pen and paper RPs out
Yeah,
there, or
on
just
the
take one
forum
top
RP.
class. Yeah, all that old stuff.
All right.
It does go text RP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another way you
another one
can find a way new RP is looking through Twitch, looking through. I mean, the VRChat section's wild,
Touching
kind of
balls
crazy.
is huge.
So maybe don't look through there. But if you find role players and you watch role players currently,
Careful of
I
that
had somebody
role-play.
in my chat recently. Somebody in there asked how to join an RP. I was streaming at the time, and I, got them a Discord invite link and such. So, I mean, it depends streamer to streamer. Maybe somebody is like, "Don't ask me," but typically I think they'll be okay. Like you ask, like, "How do I join this RP?" And if it's open, they might be like, "Here's a link to the Discord. You can read all the rules and stuff there."
It is worth noting though that sometimes, like if you do that when they're in the middle of streaming, it is very
Yeah.
difficult to respond to people in your chat when you are role playing.
Yeah, in a
Yes.
timely
If
manner.
you're in the middle of a
sometimes.
scene, you're
Yeah.
gonna get into that scene.
I
You're not gonna
really-
see that. Yeah,
Yeah. For
I really
instance,
could've
for
answered.
me, I was out of character at the time. That's why I read it. I wasn't role playing at the time. But if I was role playing, I probably wouldn't have seen it. So yeah, do be aware that role players don't check chat very often or at all.
Yeah. I think we had another question there from
Yep.
Derp.
Yeah, I see.
Okay.
How much-
Are there? We have a few more moments. This is probably the last question of the night.
Okay.
This is from Cyber. Are there any moments that happened during NDA that sticks in your mind, not as a favorite, but more, wow, I will remember that?
Oof, that's a good question.
Mm.
I'm gonna need to think on that one because it's a big. Huh.
Yeah, because sometimes it's something that you learn. Like you didn't quite realize something about your character might, make you realize, oh yeah, they've never been pushed in this sort of situation. Like I have to do some thinking about that, or whatever else it might be.
Yeah, I think it's one of those moments for me for when I was like back when I was playing my character like Leah. Like I kind of started off. It's I guess a general thing I'll explain, but more of the case of that you kind of have like that mindset for a character, and it's like for Leah, if he was more of a kind of a you kind of using people not like a bad guy, but it's very much kind of like by its own means and essentially. But over time, to kind of like go through like that rough skid exterior and like kind of like these guys now, not too bad, but like trying to just show that though. But it's kind of like that type of I guess growth kind of see in a character and other people's character as well, where it's like there's an initial idea they kind of have, because kind of see that kind of like develop or evolve over time. Like, oh man, that's kind of a I don't know, kind of cool thing to kind of see happen.
Yeah.
It just kind of leaves that impression in your mind, seeing like that growth.
Yeah.
I had a lot of moments as my character in season 3, and I think like two that stand out to me are two that was very involved with Super Sailor Moon. So her old character Ayla, the way she exited, another traumatic event that she helped facilitate for me. So she was like, I can't remember exactly, but she was like owned by a corporation, and her species was very sought out for. So she had to fake her death if she wanted to live a good life somewhere else. And so she faked her death in my character's apartment when I stepped away, and I came back and there was a fake dead body. Traumatized. But another moment that I think really sticks with me is she was playing a GM NPC for that story I talked about with the girl who's persona fixed and also has my character's wife's brain mixed in her head and all this going on. I talked with the girl without the persona fix and without his wife talking, and we had like a talk in the Church of Light for a while, a long talk, and it was the first time I actually like cried role playing, like in character, like real cried while role playing, and it was really good. So I think that'll like stick with me as something. So
You got anything? Rapture, you got anything?
I'd probably just reiterate what not Leah, sorry, Expolar
Yeah.
said. Yeah, those moments are really cool to watch evolve and grow, and character development I'm a sucker for. So
Yeah, so it kind of just really hits you in the chest there
I
sometimes. Like, oh
think
man.
I think mine was probably one of the most recent things that happened, which is where I realized that even if you make during a during a mission, that even if you make a character whose sole purpose is just to play the guitar and look really cool in the middle of that mission and just like be like a wild man playing the guitar with a flamethrower coming out the end of it,
The night
that the
mask guy,
players are
yeah.
still going to shoot him in the face the second they come around the corner. So no matter, it really is one of those moments where it's like, no matter, even if like you think 100%, no, there's no way the players would do that. Yes, they
Yeah.
will. Yes, they will. If you even for a little bit think, so always be ready for players to do the thing you don't think they're going to do. So
Mhm.
be ready with 3 more things in case they do that thing that they're
Um,
not going to do.
Yeah.
But that's always a fun thing with being like on a
I
DM
love
too,
it
just
though.
seeing
No,
what they
it's
do. It's like, huh,
just
surprised
they're
you
gonna
got
show
me
he's
there.
just a bar. He's just chilling, man. He was just playing the guitar, and then boom, 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 dead. Just instantly lit up. They failed my shopping cart test.
It's definitely something that like you kind of get a little bit caught up in like trying to make, oh, I'm going to give them this perfect story and this is how it's going to go. And so in doing so, you start trying to anticipate everything. At a certain point, you have to realize I'm not going to be able to anticipate everything. I need to,
Nope. No
like
plan
need to be
survives
ready
contact
for
with the
every
enemy.
character to die.
No plan ever
It
survives
doesn't matter.
contact
Yeah.
with players. Doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
doesn't matter how friendly, a little bit part is. Like, you got the orphan who's, selling marshmallows on the street corner. Someone's gonna come and mug them. Like,
Someone's
you
gonna
have,
steal those marshmallows. It might be
yeah,
me.
like you have no idea.
I might steal those. I probably would. Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
probably steal those marshmallows. I'd always eat the cat food.
But with that, we are actually at our time already. So if we want to start wrapping up here,
Yes, we can.
previously there's going to be a link for the there we go.
Whoop, whoop,
Uh,
whoop.
a link for the NDA Discord posted uh, in the community Discord for Neon Divide.
Yes.
So if you want to find a way how to join Neon Divide Alternative,
We go pretty much right now. We go every Saturday at approximately 8-9 Central is our starting time, right? Our lobbies open at
Yeah, like
around
8
PM
Central.
Central. Yeah.
8 p.m.
Yeah,
Central.
9
yeah.
Eastern.
Yeah,
around
that's
there.
right. 8-9 Eastern is what it is, I guess, or something like that. But yeah, we go for about 4 hours, and we'd be happy to have anyone from, if it's your first time, no time, or you've done it 100 times,
Just have fun time RPing.
Yeah.
Heck
That's
yeah.
what I come here for,
Tell some stories, get to know people. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or even
and
just
then-
lurk the Discord like a weirdo.
Hey, you know what? That's genuinely, there's a lot of people that just started out by just lurking, and figuring out if it's something that they wanted to, spend some time on or not. But let's go down one last time, real quick. Anything you want to say to the people before we wrap up fully worthless?
Hi, I'm Worthless. Neon Divide Alternative, my first RP. I've had a great time with it. The community's been great. And I may be stepping down now, but I'm sure these guys got this, and they're gonna tell some awesome stories while I'm stepping away. So
Can't believe
please
it,
go check out
abandoning
the
us.
RP. I may not be there anymore, or be around as much, but they're gonna do great things. So go check it out.
Snickle Fritz 3333. Fucking, it's been a pleasure. This wouldn't exist without any of you guys that are watching from our community. I know you're watching and shit. You guys are the best, and like without you, we got nothing. I love you. Mwah. Kisses.
Rupture again. Yeah, reiterating what Fritz said. Can't do this without you guys, and also without ND as well. So thanks to them for hosting, and it's been a blast.
Yeah.
Happy to have you here.
Yeah. And Explorer here, and yeah, the community has been great from like the official side and as well, and just an NDA as well. Just kind of, again, just people just come together and just kind of enjoying just night just role play and just that collaborative storytelling. That's been the key thing that's like been on my mind. Is always enjoyed with this fair role playing. So it's been fun, it's been great. And happy to see more to
Thank you
come.
for having
so,
us.
Yeah.
It's been great.
All right, excellent. And
And
dogs.
with that, we'd like to thank everyone for coming to this podcast. Thank you for all the NDA hosts and all that hosts, but admins and DMs and all that stuff. For Neon Divide Official, if you guys would like to support us, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/neondivide. Get some early access to some rules, some cool footage, trailers, and all that stuff. Again, it's patreon.com/neondivide. As we come back to you guys for one last wave before we go.
All right, and once again,
bye.
thank you all for joining us.
Brr.
Take care. See you next time.